Good afternoon, everybody. It is Thursday, November 17th, 2022. Welcome to another episode of Susie Q Stamping 3 on Thursday. I am starting a little bit earlier today because I just wanted to tell you how much fun my trip was to Arlington for Stampin' Up's On Stage. It's their big yearly convention. I had so much fun. We drove down on Thursday. That was an experience. It should have taken us about, 8 to 10 hours, and it took us about 13. But that's okay, because we stopped quite often for little Miss Daisy to use the grass. Audrey was a trooper. She didn't complain one time, but then we did have to take her to Cracker Barrel's to go shopping. So, that was fun. So, Thursday night, we got to the hotel. We ordered pizza, and then Friday morning, we got up. And Dorothy took me to where the rest of the group was at that I was going with. And we stamped all day. We made shoebox swaps. So I want to give you a look at these shoebox swaps. They were so cute. They were easy cards. We had to make a card that would be done in like 20 minutes. So that was what we did on Friday. And then we'll get to Saturday, which was great. So anyway, let me close my camera. I'm going to flip it down, and then we'll get on with the show today. Great. So, anyway, let me close my... All right. Let me get this readjusted here so it stays in place. How's my camera view? Okay. So, this is one of the shoebox swaps, and this was using that Santa paper. That was really cute. That demonstrator was so nice. She cut all of these out, and then I did the coloring. Isn't that fantastic? And then on the inside, we had the little penguin that comes with the set. And then this one is using a stamp set that returned from last year. Oh, no, I can't remember which one it is. I think it is, I don't remember. I'm not even going to say. But I love the way she used the vellum paper. We first embossed it with the embossing folder for this, and then we die cut it out. So that was another one. This one was a very easy one, except for the fact that I messed it up. So this is my example, but it is a fun fold card. So it opens up like this, and it's also got a pocket for a gift card. This is one that was using the trees for sale and the little puppy dog. So this is a really cute one and a very simple one to make. This one is a step card. So it steps out like this. And then you open it up like this. Again, your lovely demonstrator. She did not follow directions. And so this part here was supposed to be on the top. And this part was supposed to be on the bottom. But I made it work. And that is just really pretty. I've got to still cut my joy out that goes on the center of that. And this is a stamp set that I did not get, which was the Scotty Dogs. But we made a couple of cards with those, and they turned out really, really cute. And then on the inside, we stamped some more snowflakes. This is using that tearing technique. So this was from the Hostess pack that is in the mini catalog. So if you have a party that's qualifying for this paper, it's really got some cute whimsical paper in it. So I would suggest getting that. And it's got the little pink snowflakes. Here's one that was made with the candy cane paper. And it's also a fun fold. So it opens up like this. This is another card using that Hostess paper that you can get. And then this is another fun fold. So you open it up. And then it's opened up like this. And I had all my new friends sign their cards either on the back or inside if it was like a black card. So that I would know whose idea that was. And let me take this out of the package. This was my shoebox swap that I took for everybody to make. So it was using the Joyful Flurries, Joyful Flurries stamp set. And so that was that was my swaps from on Friday. And then Saturday, oh my gosh, what a day and how it started out. So convention started at 9. Registration started at 8. I got there in plenty of time, and oh my gosh, I realized that I had forgotten something that was very, very important. And I had not had a cup of coffee yet. So I called Dorothy and I said, could you go get me a cup of coffee and bring it back to me? So I was already in line, and all my new friends came there, and I said, well, keep my place, and I will meet you as soon as Dorothy gets back with my coffee. So they did, and I stood outside waiting for Dorothy, and I was able to bum a lighter off of somebody. And I waited, and oh my gosh, it was like 8:45, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she's not going to make it back, and I'm going to miss registration. I'm going to miss the greatest parts. She made it back just in the nick of time with a really great cup of coffee. She ran into some construction zones. Driving in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is like a madhouse when you come from a very small town like Eldon. I will never complain of the traffic again. The speed limit was 65 to 70, and I mean, people were going 80 to 90. I mean, it was awful. Anyway, so we get there Saturday, and I check in, and I get this wonderful, pretty box. All this stuff in here was mine. So, let's open it up and see what I got. I got a letter that was telling me what awards I got and received. So that, and then I would stand up and I would just kind of give a wave. I got my name badge. And so these were all my little award ribbons that I had in my envelope. So I'm a silver demonstrator. I got level 1 team building, level 1 in sales, and level 1 in leadership for the 2022, or from October 2021 to October 2022. And then I got this really cool pin that says my first on stage. So that was really cool. So we wore those so that people would know who we were. I got this really pretty notebook. And if you look on the sides, it's got printing on the sides. Isn't that pretty? I love it, love it. I don't know yet what I'm going to use this for because I haven't even filled up last year's. Then I got these pins for on stage. So I haven't put those on my lanyard yet. I don't know where I'm going to put them. But then I got this really pretty cool over-the-shoulder bag. And this is an evening evergreen, my favorite color. I had lost my pen. It was a really pretty pen. I didn't know where I put it, but I found it. Isn't that pretty?
Bring it down just a little bit.
Just a bit? Okay.
It's got a lot of glare today.
Okay. So I got this really pretty pen, and then I got this over-the-shoulder bag, and it says Stampin' Up! On it, and it's got a pocket and a zipper, and then another outside pocket. So this is going to be like for a special purse that I carry, because this is not near big enough for all the stuff I usually carry, but that's okay. All right, so then...
It's really pretty, though, in person.
Then, I forgot to mention, on Friday, when we got there, or when I got there, Davita, who is a team leader from the Kansas City area, she kind of has adopted me because I go to their Kansas City, Missouri quarterly meetings, and she had given everybody these little candy boxes with a treat in it. So that's a little Snickers bar. She'd given me that. And then one of my new friends, Vanessa, she's from California, she had made these little Matchbox candy holders. So she'd gotten one of those for everybody. Then we did what they call a pillow swap. And that's where you just made a little gift to exchange with somebody. And so This was the one that I got. So it's a little box with that beautiful paper that I just love. And this ribbon. The catalog does this ribbon no justice at all. This is in the annual catalog, and it is so pretty. Anyway, inside here, it's a great big candy bar. So I haven't touched this yet. So anyway, so that was my pillow gift that I received.
It's called Rose Gold and White.
The ribbon is rose gold and white. So it is really, really pretty. And like I said, the catalog does not do it justice whatsoever. So keep my watch on my time so I don't go over talking. This was the pillow swap that I gave. So it was made with the Happy Hello or the Hello Harvest. So I had colored the pumpkins. And then I had extras of these that I swapped again on Saturday at On Stage. Okay. Then when we got there at On Stage, also at our tables, Davita had made all of her team this little backpack candy holder. So it's got treats and candy in it. So I was just showered with all kinds of really cool stuff. So at On Stage, demonstrators, if they want to, they can swap cards. So that's where you can take however many cards you want.
Oh my heavens.
And you can swap them out with other demonstrators. I did not have time to make a certain style of one card, so I just pulled out all the cards that I had made for 3 on Thursdays and for classes and things like that. So I took like 68 cards, and I came home with some, but I didn't come home with all of them. So these might have a glare because I haven't taken them out of the bags. But here's another one made with the Scotty, along with that whimsical Christmas paper. And then this is another one that they made with the Scotties. This is the one that's made with, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, I love that. And this is Nana's ink. Her name is Evelyn Rosenroth, and she demonstrated a card there at On Stage. So that was really kind of cool that I'd gotten a swap card. Here's one that I got. And here's one made with those bathing suits. I wished I could fit into a bathing suit like that in my dreams. Here's another one made with that Santa paper. This is made with that boughs of holly or something. Dorothy's over here laughing again. This one's a real simple card, but they've embossed the little butterflies with gold, and then they used an embossing folder on the front of it, and then used the gold paper for the, so it's a very simple but elegant looking card. Okay, I met some famous people, okay? These are other demonstrators that I watch, and I'm sure a lot of you watch them too. This card is from Sharon Armstrong, TX Stampin' Sharon. So I have my picture taken with her. And this was a card I swapped with her. So I love this. I'm going to duplicate this card. And then this is the card that I got, and it's using that cardigan sweater, which is really pretty. This card here is using some of the die cuts from the kit we're going to use today. I'm going to show you how to do it. And this one here, little card, big thanks. And this is from Stampin' with Christina. So I met her. I'm sorry, Creating with Christina. Let's see. Here's one that's using that silhouette tree. Another Scotty dog. Those are with the seashells. This was my very first swap. This isn't a full card. It's just a card front. But Debbie Russell was my very first swap. She was sitting at the first table as I came in, and I asked her if she wanted to swap. Some of you think I'm very outgoing. No, I'm really kind of shy until I get in the groove of my environment. Once I swapped once and I was okay. All right, this is a really cool swap card. It's a slider card. So if I can get it to slide here. So it slides up like so. So then it sets up like that. Isn't that a cool card? So we're going to learn how to make one of those. This is one that's using the So Chic paper and that stamp set. That's using the Use of Happiness. This is that Hello Harvest paper. I love those pumpkins. That is such a pretty card. Then this was a little treat holder that I got, that I swapped for. So it's got a little, can't get it out of the little plastic bag. Can you tell I haven't taken these out of their containers? So, oh wow, it has a little mini milk chocolate bar. I wonder where in the world they got that. So, here's a funny story for you. Chuck picked up Daisy this great big antler bone. And so it's the right size for Daisy because it's big. For Simba, not so much. But Simba came into my stamp studio and stole that big old antler and took and hid it in Chuck's room. This is an ornament, a clay ornament that they stamped on. So that's kind of different and unique. And then I got a couple of these cards, and these are those square cards. I know we've kind of made one of these in the past, but isn't that pretty? She used those pumpkins that are, and then she did that on one side. So really some neat ideas in cards. It just goes to show that everybody stamps differently. And nobody, I mean, I didn't get two cards that were the same, using the same paper and whatnot. This is another square box card. These all came from the same person because she wanted 3 of mine since she could choose. So then she gave me 3 of hers. Oh my gosh, I met Pat's favorite demonstrator besides me. Connie Stewart. I had my picture taken with Connie Stewart. Yes. I don't have it just yet because Vanessa is downloading all the pictures. So this was Connie's swap card. I'll figure out how, there we go. So it opens up like this. So it's kind of a different kind of gatefold. So then it sets up just like that, which is really kind of cool. So we're going to be making one of those. And she used those little brass butterflies and that Tea Party paper. I seen Frances Martin, Frenchie. I got to see her walk across the stage for her accomplishments. Davita, shout out to Davita. She walked across the stage. She's been in Stampin' Up! For 20 years. Here's another swap card. Some of them are very simple and some of them were very detailed. Here's a simple one using the Seashells 3D embossing folder. So like I said, everybody has their own stamping style. I mean, there was probably 500 demonstrators. This is using that new set. Yes. floret frames, I believe. This is using that cactus set. I had never gotten this, but that's a really cute card. Most of them were supposed to be using current product, but some people use discontinued. This is a real simple card that's a peekaboo card. Here's one that's really kind of unique. They did different colors, and then they ran it all through an embossing folder. And then they used the charming sentiments. Here's one using the, oh yes, it's Abigal rose paper. This is the geranium set. And I'm still having a hard time with that parakeet party ink, but this is the sweet sorbet. I like the way they did this one. They offset the die cut so that it didn't fit right inside, so you could see kind of like the white behind it. So that was kind of a new thing. This was using the vintage bottles. And this is on one of the Stampin' Up! Note cards that come pre-folded and everything. They're just a little bit smaller. Here's one that's made with the jar. So that's just some very pretty coloring. It was so much fun. And then we got to watch demonstrations of new product. Demonstrations for, they went over the sales totals and things like that. And some of it was surprising that, and I can't remember off the top of my head which thing won what category, like the most ordered product. I'd have to go back in the old catalog and look and see. But here's another little treat holder made using the Brightest Glow paper, which, by the way, is sold out, and we will not be getting that anymore, unfortunately. That is probably one of the most popular papers this season in this catalog. But any ideas that you have like this, they can be used with any designer series paper and decorated however. So we'll probably be making one of those on a 3 on Thursday. Here's one. I love the way this one opens. And I'm going to give you a little clue that we will be making this style of card tomorrow at our stamp club. But we're making it for Christmas. So that's how this one opens up. Okay. For some reason, my internet is buffering today, so I hope I don't lose you. At least it is on my phone. I don't know if it is on my computer or not.
It's still working on the
So
computer.
it just must be my phone. Then this is one that's just a very simple card that opens up.
You better wrap it up because it's almost 3 o'clock.
Oh, I know. I gotta hurry. Here's a little candy cane, a little mini candy cane, and a little wreath. Then this is an ornament using the gnome set that she put then on a piece of wood. And then another little snack holder, treat holder. And then this one has one of those cutter openers stuck inside of it. But you could definitely use it for a candy, a little flat Ghirardelli candy. So, those were all of my swap cards from on stage. I had the most wonderful time meeting new people, meeting people from Kansas and Kansas City, Texas, and California. So that's what Stampin' Up! Is all about, is meeting other new people and networking with them, getting to know them, and then keeping in contact with them through Stampin' Up! Because you have something in common. So I am getting all of this stuff moved out of the way. Oh, I didn't show you my new product that I got, but I got to show you that. So we'll start right away Let me show you. Oh, I love the new catalog cover. There's the new catalog. It will come out for January 4th. You can start ordering through April. They are changing the sale dates for the catalogs. Celebration will begin on January 5th and end on February 28th. Unfortunately, ladies, I cannot show you what's in these catalogs, but I can show you the stamp sets that we got. So this is a new stamp set that's coming out in the mini catalog called Decorative Borders. So there's flowers. I just didn't get a chance to kind of stamp them for you today. Here's another one. It's called Hand-Drawn Dots. And this makes some really unique backgrounds. They demonstrated this set. Hi, Cherie. Hi, Karen. Sorry I didn't say hi earlier. I just wanted to kind of get things moving with what was going on.
Oh, you were just excited.
Yeah, I was. The Hand-Drawn Dots. Excuse me. And the Beautifully Happy. Those were both in my welcome box. So today we are going to use a couple of stamps out of the Beautifully Happy. So that is that. And this, Beautifully Happy is a celebration stamp set. So it's in this catalog. I also got this Night of Navy ribbon that I haven't even opened. But it's like a sheer ribbon. I traded this for the twine. This was my prize patrol, kind of like the door prize. So we all got a prize patrol, but they were all different. Then look at this paper. This is absolutely gorgeous. It's called Dry Brushed Metallic Specialty Designer Paper. You get 4 sheets to a package. And it comes in 2 different colors. This is like the Calypso Coral. And then you have it in where the background is a bluish color. It doesn't really tell me. And then with the gold on top. Isn't that gorgeous? Gorgeous, gorgeous. I can't wait to make a card out of that. So everybody got a pack of this. Everybody got the new stamp sets. I was able to pre-order some product, so I put that order in on Monday. That should be arriving tomorrow. So I will do an unboxing of that.
Do we think it'll be in before we have to
I
leave
don't
now?
think it'll be here before class, because UPS never gets here that early. Okay, so, all right, breather. Here is, I kind of made this up as an example. This is what we're going to be kind of making in our calendar class, December 31st, okay? Now, I did not embellish mine, but I'm going to. So, I used discontinued paper because I want to get rid of this paper. So, this is one good way of you using discontinued paper. If you like a paper that I have on mine and you don't have it, let me know and we'll work out a deal, okay? So this is how it's going to flip up and over, okay? And it is very easy to stamp with our calendar with the Days to Remember stamp set, which leads me to this. If you have not already purchased Days to Remember, order it between today and tomorrow at midnight Mountain Time, because it is on sale for $14 and some odd cents instead of the $17. So that's one of the stamp sets that are on sale. Hopefully you all got my email that said we were having a seasonal sale. So there's 10% off, 20% off, 15% off of certain products from the annual catalog. You can go on to onto my online store and look up what's on sale Okay, so here's the flip calendar, and like I said, I use mostly discontinued designer series paper. You will get the rings and the stand, and I'm trying to think of a way that we can decorate our rings, but it wouldn't be a pain to flip our calendars. Okay, I will get the registration form out for that here, hopefully in the next day or so, probably by Saturday. I will get that out.
Maybe.
No, maybe.
It might be Saturday night.
It might be Saturday night. Okay. Let's get started. We are going to use today for our first card, Trees for Sale. I haven't really demonstrated this card. Where is the embossing, buddy?
I don't know. I used mine.
She says she used hers, but
I
mine
used mine.
Well, can I borrow yours? Because mine has disappeared.
I just saw it yesterday over there.
Well, it's not over there now. Don't you just love how they
This is
argue?
mine, though.
Okay, fine. It's yours. I'll give it back to you. Oh, my goodness. All right. I have already gone ahead and did some prep work on this. Get my Stampin' mat out here. So the colors that we're going to use for this card are Melon Mambo, Mango Melody, Granny Apple Green, and I don't have a big one of that yet. I'm still waiting on getting that. Tahitian Tide, and Gorgeous Grape. Okay. This is not your traditional Christmas colors, but it makes a really fun, cute card that you could give to a kid or a teenager. You know, send it to some of your friends' children or whatever. Okay.
Or send it to your friends. It doesn't have to be for a kid.
Right. It doesn't have to be for a kid. All right. Send it to one of those friends that is not traditional red and green for Christmas. I have gone ahead and embossed my front of my card with the Wintry 3D embossing folder. No, Pat, the calendar class is on the last day of December. I didn't want to do it on New Year's Day, so we're doing it New Year's Eve day. So it's the 31st of December on Saturday, because the 1st of January is on a Sunday. And I didn't think I could get to church on that day, all day. Okay? So let me explain to you how I did this for the embossing. Normally, they say to run the embossing folder in with the thick part that's closed in first. Well, if you do that, you're going to get extra marks on your paper. So what I did was I lined it up and I ran it through sideways like this. So the opening was over here and the thick part was on the left. Then I just moved it down and I overlapped it a little bit because it's not going to be seen, and I ran it through for the other half, since this is one of those small embossing folders. Okay, so that's how I embossed it, and this is a piece of thick basic white that measures the 5.5 by 8.5. All right, we are going to do a little bit of embossing real quick here so that that's done and out of the way. We are embossing. I was going to do this earlier, but since I couldn't find my embossing buddy.
Hey, I don't know what you do with half your stuff.
I don't know. It's around here somewhere. If you seen my room right now, ladies, you would be, oh my gosh, how can she work in there? Very difficulty right now. So I'm going to stamp my Christmas greetings onto my black paper. And the designer of this card, my assistant, is making me fussy cut. Yes, fussy cut. Can you imagine?
But it's not hard. You just cut around it.
She doesn't think it's hard. I do. Let me get my embossing tray here.
I mean, now if you had the cutouts that came with them when you could first get those that one time, you could have used that.
Oh, trees for sale?
Uh-huh.
Yes. If you had the die cuts for the
I think that one is
tree
in there.
lot dies, then you probably would have the die that you could cut it out. But since that was only a special promotion and not everybody has it, I won't use my set. Oh, excuse me, my assistant's set,
I was going to say.
because it is her set. So I am going to heat and emboss this real quick. So give me just 1 second.
I can't play music today.
So what were you all up to over the weekend? Can you believe this weather? Snows on Tuesday. And tomorrow the high of only 29 degrees. Can you imagine? Who can live with 29 degrees? And if anybody tells you that it's always hot in Texas, they're lying. Because it was cold down in Texas. All right. Somewhere, I need a pair of those reading glasses, even though they're not my favorites. Because I can't see to fussy cut.
Oh my gosh.
I told you.
So you have any more stuff on this desk?
This desk is so full, I'll tell you. It is a mess. Oops, I didn't get it all. I see a little spot there that didn't melt. There we go. My C hadn't melted correctly. So let's see if I can talk and cut at the same time. So does anybody have any questions about what I might have done on stage? Anybody can go to it as long as you're an active demonstrator. So if it's something that you would like to think about being a demonstrator, and you don't have to be as a business like what I'm doing, you can be just a hobby demonstrator where you would just be your own best customer. And if you have friends that might want to purchase stuff, we're going to cut this off.
You want me
here.
to cut it for you?
No, I got it. Then you also could go to on stage. The amount of goodies that you got, more than paid for the registration fee. I feel anyway. I think that oops, I got a little close there to that G. Y'all might get the other one that the assistant cut out. Because my G's a little, or I might redo it. Because I'm not very good at this. But if you would like to be a hobby demonstrator, I can certainly explain to you what you need to do. That would be fun for you and helpful for me, because I would not leave you stranded. I would definitely give you any help that you would need. All right, so we've got it cut out. Not perfect, but it is cut out. Okay. All right, now, this was the tricky part. But this is also the part that I was able to help someone with. So we have a piece of basic white that measures. I know I missed all of you guys last week, Cherie. 5.5 by 2 inches. So I'm going to find the center point so that 5.5 is actually going to be 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. Plus a quarter would be 2 3/4. And I'm going to make just a little tiny tick mark at the bottom of my paper with a pencil that is easy to erase, so that we have our center point. So that's 2 3/4 is my center. Okay, that's where we're going to start with our center tree. And that is done in the Granny Apple Green. And we're going to stamp off our bottom color. So that's our big tree here. Okay, I really do need to get a bigger Granny Apple Green. So I'm just going to stamp off. And now I'm going to place that not right over my mark, that's for sure. We're going to move our tick mark down here at the bottom. Erase that.
Man, did I struggle with this card.
Yes, she did struggle with it, but then she finally got it. So now I'm going to stamp
The trick is to find the middle.
Yes, you have to find that
and then
center
work
point.
outside in.
Okay. So now we're going to do the two end ones. And one is Gorgeous Grape. And we're going to do all of our main trees and then come back and do our insides. So we're going to, oops, this is what I'm looking for. Am I in camera view or do I need to move stuff?
No, you're still there.
Okay.
There.
All right. So we're going to stamp off our Gorgeous Grape. And we're going to bring it just about to the edge of our paper. Okay. Clean that off. This weather is just playing havoc on everybody's sinuses. Okay, we're going to do our Melon Mambo. And we're going to do that on the far left. So we're going to stamp off it. Bring it over. Now what my problem is going to be is maybe getting them lined up equally on the bottom. But you know what? It doesn't really matter. Because I don't see a forest where all the trees are even. That's what I kept trying to tell someone. But it didn't matter. Now we're going to come in with our Mango Melody. And we're going to stamp it right here. And our Tahitian Tide. Stamp off. So the secret to doing this is finding that center point and then working from your two sides. Okay? It's the easiest way to do it. Since I've got the Tahitian Tide open, we're going to bring in the detail stamp. And we're going to stamp it. Clean it off. We've got the Mango Melody open, so we're going to stamp it. Like I said, this is not your traditional colors for Christmas, but it is a really cute and bright and fun card. And you could just do it for a birthday card if you wanted to. If somebody has a birthday in December, instead of giving them the traditional birthday card, Christmassy looking, give them one like this. This would be cute. Okay. Stamp our Gorgeous Grape. And our last color is our Mango Melody. So, how many of you caught our live driving video? I was driving. My co-pilot was doing the video. Okay, so there's our... Whoops, I forgot my Granny Apple Green.
You could also do this with traditional colors.
Yes, you could. You could do this with traditional colors.
If stepping out for a Christmas card that's not traditional colors drives you insane,
right,
you could do this with traditional colors.
Exactly. You could. You could even do this with embossing them in silver and gold if you wanted to. Okay, so there is our Christmas trees. Pretty well even. Looks okay to me. I'm gonna put these away so that. Okay. All right. Then you're going to attach this, and you're just going to lay this flat right in the center of your card. I'm just using my Seal Plus. So one of the questions that we were asked last weekend was, do you try to reserve your tape runner, or do you just use it? So I'm asking you all, do you use a lot of tape runner, or do you try to be conservative on it?
I'm conservative.
I am a little bit of both. It depends on what I am stamping, or what I'm going to place it on. Okay, now we're going to put our little Christmas greeting right there, and we are going to use some of our mini dimensionals. Whoops, wrong drawer. With my favorite tool, take your pick, and we're going to space these out pretty good because I don't want it to sag. Since it's a long greeting, I want to make sure that it's going to stay nice and popped up. So I'm putting them all along there. Peel off our backings. Oops. Okay. Oh, I know what we forgot to do. I've got to draw for the cards that we made the week before I left. Okay. So there is our non-traditional Christmas trees. And of course we need sparkle. So we're going to take our Wink Stella pen, and we're just going to kind of go over those trees, not in any real rhyme or reason, and just kind of give them. And I am cleaning my brush off after I get done with the color so that it doesn't transfer. Because sometimes the Wink Stella brush. So Cherie, you use a lot of adhesive. That's okay. Like I said, it depends a lot on what I am adhering. If I'm adhering something that's embossed, I'll use more. If I'm adhering to something that's embossed, I might use more. If I'm adhering something that is but this card is so bright and cheery. I mean, this would even be just a fun card to send to somebody that just says, hello, I'm thinking about you, and send it to him in December. So, that's not the week before.
Oh.
Okay? She was drawing for cards that were already given away. So there's our
Well, we
card
might give them
number
away
1.
again if they don't give me their address.
Okay, so that is
Never
card
mind.
number 1.
That was the last one we did.
Mm-mm. I did one the week before we left.
Oh. The third.
Yeah, I did one on the 3rd.
No. It's right here. That's the one I did.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, see right here. November. Oh! Ha! I was in the right one. That's the right
That was
one.
the beginning of it.
Yes.
Yes.
So I was in the right one.
You were on the right one. Just
You
in the wrong
confused me.
cards.
You confused
Okay.
me.
So let's take
You do
a
you
second
over here.
Remember, I made a bonus card with that new set. Gosh darn, I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, for a special person on a special day. And then I did the wreath card. And then I did the joy card with the scraps. And then the all is merry and bright with that glimmer paper underneath the red. So we will put those names in our hat on my phone and see who wins those. All right, so that is the trees for sale. So you do have 3 different size trees. You have a garland with lights. You have the pole, and then you have the little puppy dog. You have the stands. So this is a really cute, whimsical set. All right, on to our next card. Okay, we're going to be using the Beautiful Happy stamp set, and that's going to be in the new Celebration catalog. All right, and you know, I thought about it, and I thought, you know, one of the papers that was in the catalog this year and that I haven't really done anything with, and that was the Abigal Rose. And so I pulled it out this morning, and I thought, well, you know, that is really pretty paper. Just think of something. Now, I don't think I have every piece. I think I'm missing a piece. 1, 2, maybe 2 pieces. But then you have the back sides of it. Okay? So I will show you a couple of cards after I make the card that we're making today of some other examples that I did just real quick this morning. Because I just couldn't help myself. And I kind of thought maybe these flowers kind of looked like some of the flowers within the Abigail Rose paper. So I thought that was kind of cool. It's also using darker colors for the winter months, for birthday cards. So this is the card that we're going to make. The paper is our wow factor because I like how it looks on the early espresso as the backdrop with the crumb cake, and you could certainly dress this up. I did not get this stamp and die set, so therefore I couldn't cut out a flower, and I wasn't fussy cutting. So start, of course, with your 8.5 by 5.5 card base scored at 4 1/4, and that is crumb cake. This is going to be very vanilla for the inside. We have a piece of early espresso that measures 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to lay it down. No, we're not, because we're not going to make the same mistake that I made when I made that example. We're going to lay down our DSP paper. And on the back of that is just some leaves. So we're going to lay this down. I did take my favorite, who can tell me what my favorite ribbon is out of this catalog? Does anybody remember? I know I've mentioned it before, because it is like my ultimate favorite. It is the, where did I put it? Did I put it away? Not that I did. Oh, yes. Where did you go? Here we go. It's not open, but it is the white thin seam binding. And the reason I love this so much is because you can make it any color that you want. It might be kind of hard on camera to see this, but I took my Petal Pink blends, my dark blend, and I dyed that ribbon to where it just gave me that petal pink color that goes with this paper. Okay, so when I put mine down, I realized that I may have put it down just a little bit too far. So we're going to move this one up a little bit more. We're going to wrap our ribbon around the back. Put a little bit of adhesive on the back. Make sure that it is straight across. Okay, we're going to snip off our excess. And we're going to lay this piece down on our crumb cake. I am so excited about class tomorrow. I have some fun projects I think you all are going to really like. At least I hope you do. Alright, so we've got that laid down. Now I'm going to use the stamp out of our Beautifully Happy that says, for a very happy birthday. These fonts are so fun. They're different fonts being mixed. But they're so fun. Oh, I already have it out here. And I am stamping that in our early espresso. And back my stamp mat. Try to ink something on something soft. And I want to make sure that I kind of make my words go towards the right more. Let's see, am I going to get this done perfect? See the shadow on it.
That help?
Yep. Okay, so that is done.
Did you want me to leave it on?
Okay, and it doesn't matter.
It gives you shadows, is what I was asking.
All right. Then on the inside, while we've got the ink out, we're going to
Can't
stamp.
do that. Too much shadow.
We're going to stamp one of the little flowers from the stamp set. And we're going to stamp that in Early Espresso, stamped off. Because I don't want it real dark, so I'm going to stamp it off once. And then I'm going to put it down here in the bottom of our card. And I think I put away my petal pink markers. Nope, I didn't use markers. Never mind. I forgot. I used the petal pink ink and the other stamp, the filler stamp, to stamp on the inside. For some reason, I thought I was coloring it, but I'm not. Fussy cutting and coloring all in the same video? Whoa. I don't think so. That would be too dangerous. Okay? So then you're just going to kind of line up your stamp, your inlay stamp. That was pretty good. So it's just a very pale, just a touch of color. And now we're going to put in, well, I'm not going to put it in for yours. I put in mine, wishing you every happiness this special day will bring. So as usual, I will just leave the inside blank. And that way you can choose what sentiment you want for the inside of your card. Okay, now let's go back and finish the outside of our card. We are going to glue our... Now what I did was I left enough space that I could line this up how I wanted to. And this is going to get cut off straight across there. So we're going to attach this. Oh, let's see, I know it was here somewhere, but I think I've misplaced it.
Right.
There it is. Didn't misplace it, just covered it up. I've been doing this all last whole week, forgetting where my stuff is at. Or covering it up with stuff and not being able to find it. So I used the pick a tag or pick a label punch that gives me that little flag. I'm going to lay that down. Now we're just going to trim off. How I did that. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Well, we're just going to have to go do it the opposite direction. I messed up. Can I fix it? I don't think I can fix it. I can't fix it because of the way I stamped it. But like they say, it's not a mistake. It's just different. So now we're going to put this on with some dimensionals. And I had them somewhere. Oh well, we'll just get some more out.
Okay.
They're a dime a dozen. Okay. And again, because this is kind of a long piece, we're going to use quite a few of them. Oops. So does everybody have big plans for Thanksgiving? We're just going to spend it at home, make a small dinner. I decided a long time ago I don't have to prove that I can cook. I know I can. I just don't like to. So we are going to have the traditional turkey dressing and all that good stuff. Alright. But I do think, no, we'll leave it that long. So then I'm going to take and I'm going to put that all the way over to the side. Then I've got a little piece of extra ribbon. We're just going to tie a knot on there. Hopefully I have enough ribbon to tie a knot. The thing about coloring the ribbon, you want to make sure that you've colored enough to complete your project. Use my handy dandy tweezers. So we're just going to make a overhand pretty knot like that. We're going to trim off our edges. Ouch. Don't poke yourself with the scissors like I just did. That kind of hurts. Okay. Now I think what I'm going to do, because I want that little knot to stay there, in the paper pumpkin kits, they have these little glue dots. And they work really good to put down underneath things. So I'm going to put one underneath where that knot is, peel that paper off, and then stick that knot down, and it's not going to move. Okay, now I got to find... Hello, Shirley. How are you? I'm glad that you were able to join us today. I am looking for my pearls, and I colored one. Yeah, but I put it in my box with this card supplies.
Oh, those are different pearls in
It's just a single little pearl. I probably lost it. Okay, well, I will color another one. See, this is a white pearl, and I took the petal pink blends and I colored it to match. You know, Karen, bows are a nemesis to a lot of people. My secret to bow making is a bow maker. If you go out and do a search on Amazon for bow makers, you'll find a lot of different ones. This is my favorite one, and I think this is made by Darcy. I can't remember. But you can make wide bows, any size bow that you want to, and it's very simple. It comes with instructions. So this is what I like to make. If I'm making a lot of bows for class, I make them with this. It saves me on my ribbon. I'm not wasting ribbon like I do if I'm tying them by hand. So if bows are your nemesis, by all means, go and get a bow maker. Order one off of Amazon. They'll be a lifesaver for you. But I will put a pearl on here so that it will match this one. So that's card number 2. And I just love how those the brown tones look. So that Abigal rose paper is really, really pretty. I didn't think I'd really like it, but I do. And so I couldn't stop using it today. So here is, oh, I found my dimensionals. Here is another card that I made with it. And this is using the Evening Evergreen and Petal Pink. And then I just used the Petal Pink blends and colored in one flower. And then here's one that was using a different print of it. And on the back side was the stripes. This ribbon is just old ribbon that's discontinued that is Petal Pink. But since these were just for me, I could use it. And then this one here, I just made kind of like a quadrant type card. And for a special person on a special day, that is out of another new set, the Framed Florets, which is this set here, that has some really cool fonts. I haven't had a lot of time to play with that set yet. So that's 3 more examples using that paper. Okay. Now, the next project that we're going to do, you might think, oh, Sue, why did you do that? Here's that bias ribbon that I love so well. This is my package that's open. Because it's white, and so you can color it any color that you want with a blend. Alright, so let me show you the next thing that we have. It is actually 2 kits. They are in the mini catalog. They are still available. This was given as a gift when I went to my Kansas City meeting here a couple weeks ago that I demonstrated at. So, this is the kit that you get. It's on page 83 of the mini catalog. And you get, this was just an added bonus that they put in. This was the Evening Evergreen ribbon. So that doesn't come in the kit, but they gave us all a roll of that. So in your Santa Express Memories and More pack, you get this whole pack of this is the Memories and More cards and envelopes. So you have green and red envelope or card bases. And look at how many you get here, ladies. You get 20 cards and 20 envelopes. So, easy peasy Christmas cards. Alright? And right now, I know easy is what I'm going to have to go for because I just don't have a whole lot of time to sit and make different Christmas cards. And then you have matching envelopes, which is really kind of cool. Okay? So, that is one set. So, you can get all of these 20 cards and envelopes for $11. And that's called the Santa Express Memory and More cards and envelopes. Then the Santa Express Memories and More card pack. This is what you get in it. You get a little package of greeting cards that you can use. Remember that one card I showed you from my swaps? And they had used something, they had used this one, Have a Holly Jolly Christmas. So you don't have to use, so you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those, and then on the back side it's something else that you could stamp a greeting and put that on a card. So there's still some imagination and creativity that can go on in here. Alright, here you've got Santa Clauses, okay? So you got a bunch of those. Then you've got these cards. C is for candy cane, cookies, Christmas, carols. You've got joy, peace, and love. So even though there's not a whole lot of stamping to this, if you're new to stamping or you just want some quick, simple cards to give to your postman or to give to your ups driver or whoever that you don't, but you don't want to spend 3 hours on making a card for them, one of these cards would be super fantastic because they are double-sided. So isn't that kind of cool? This one here you can stamp something on or write something on. Then you've got these cards here that have the Santa in the train. Okay. And then you flip them over and it's the most wonderful time of the year. So those are all things that you can use for the front of your cards or for the inside. See, that one's got stars. So they've all got something different on the back side of them. So that makes it really kind of nice. Then you have all of these cards. Okay. Oops. These are punch outs. So you have numbers.
They're stickers.
Oh, they're stickers. Wow, you don't even have to worry about sticking it down. So you get 2 sheets of stickers. And then you have, these are more like base cards. So you could add stuff to this, like the little penguin for Let It Snow. Then on the back of it, it's just the snowflakes. You have candy canes. And then Dear Santas. So if you have a child or a grandchild that you want them to make a little card, then you could put that in a photo album. Or make a card out of it for them when they get to be an adult. Okay. Oh, what fun. You can do stamping on that. Stamping on the back. You got Happy Christmas. And then green and red spots. Dots. Not spots, dots. And here you got some Christmas trees. And then the Santa with the train. And season's greetings. And a stripe. So, for today's card that I wanted to show you how simple and easy it is. What's my time?
You have about 15 minutes.
15 minutes. Okay, let's see how many of these we can get done in 15 minutes. These are acetate sheets that you can use. So it's the most wonderful time of the year. Merry Christmas. You could use these over the top of a piece of paper. It also comes with these little wooden embellishments that says Merry Christmas, celebrate, ho ho ho, Santa, Noel, joy, and snow. And then you have some snowflakes and some stars. Okay, so you get 2 sheets of those. So, I'm going to pull me out one of my cards from the cards and envelope pack. It's going to be this card right here. We're going to, it's already pre-fold or pre-scored. We're going to fold it. I'm going to take a piece of the snowflake paper. We're going to mount that just like so. Then we're going to take a piece of this and we're going to cut it down to 2 inches. Whoops. Alright, so we're going to cut this at 2 inches. That means that this piece, my center, is going to be at 1 inch. Now, 2 inches will not fit through my label punch where it makes my little flag, okay? And so I'm going to just move my trimmer up just a tad because I'm going to make my own flag. So I've cut it up in the center. Yes, all my ladies are very quiet today. I feel like I just keep talking and talking like the ever-ready bunny. Okay? Because the green is easier for me to see than the stripes, we're going to go on that side. And I'm going to take and just cut up to the end of my cut line, point to point. Got that one off a little bit, but that's okay. Sue doesn't do anything straight, and it will look okay. Okay, those pieces are scrap. This is now going to get laid down here. We're now going to take our little Santa face here. And he's going to get popped up on dimensionals, just like that. I'm going to find my stickers with my holly berries and one of my ho 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 wooden pieces. Very carefully pop that out of that. I am going to use my piercing mat so that I'm not trying to do this. And I'm going to hold this and then just kind of take my take your pick tool and get it popped out of there. Hopefully without breaking it. I think I can. Sure. Okay. Now, this is a card that might cost you a little bit more to mail, but if you're sending a package to somebody, then you can include this card, and it wouldn't matter because you're not sending it just by itself. You're sending it in a package. And what little kid wouldn't like this card? Okay. So I'm just kind of working that out of there. Now this does not have any adhesive on the back of it, so you do have to glue it. And when you do, you want to make sure that you don't glue it or put glue on the letters that are going to hang over the card. Come on, pop out of there. See, it's not that hard with your take your pick tool. Okay, so we are ready to assemble this card. I'm going to have a seat because my back is starting to hurt. Alright, adhesive. And you could do any combination whatsoever of these cards. Let your imagination go. Wouldn't this be a fun set to even work with grandkids that are old enough, of course, to help you make cards? But they could make these cards and give them to their friends, give them to their school teachers, even make one for their mom and dad. So there's a lot of possibilities with this kit. And when you figure you can make 20 cards for $22, that's pretty good because you got the envelopes with it. Alright, now we're going to lay this one down.
You need to move it up a little bit. You're out of
So I'm out of my camera view. We're going to move that up here like that. And just because I don't want my tips to come up, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down there because I can't get my seal there. And I'm going to turn this upside down so that I can see this top better and get it as centered as possible. I need big dimensionals. I don't know where they are. They're here somewhere. I know what I can use. I have some of the sticky strips. So we're just going to use some sticky strips. Oh, look at the back of that. Isn't that cute? Can make a little tag with that. So I'm just going to put on some sticky strips here. I think if I cut one in half, it will, for the top and the bottom, And then, of course, I'm going to put one in the center so that it does not sag. And we'll just do the crisscross here. Okay. Forgot, ladies. Can you tell it's been a couple weeks? I think maybe, perhaps, I can get my granddaughter to help me make some of these cards. I don't know. Okay. Alright. So now we're going to put that right there in the center of our card. We're going to take our stickers that have the holly berries on them, and we're going to stick them down here in the corners. Like so. I've got some of the red rhinestones. And I'm going to put a red rhinestone in each one of the little red printed berries, just to give it some bling on the front of it. But you don't have to do this, so it's just a little added touch to it. And like I said, fast, easy cards, but yet they're fun. And they would be great to do with grandkids. So our ho 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 is going to go like this. So I know I don't want to do any glue on my little swirl ends. You could even do ho 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 down here, however you'd want to do it. So I'm going to put some glue. Sure I am. I don't think I refilled it since I came back home. Don't want a whole lot. Just enough to keep it on your card. So I'm not putting a whole lot on, just kind of going around the letters a little bit. I think kids would have fun doing these cards. Almost makes me wish that I had other grandkids that would make them with me. Little ones. Okay. And we're just going to put ho, ho, ho right down there like that. And you're done. And then you've got an envelope to match it. Oops, the red one. You could use the red or the green one. It doesn't matter. What's nice is on the front, it's all white, so you don't have to worry about paying extra. And then, of course, you can do your greeting on the inside, write your letter, and you have your envelope to fit. Because these are a little bit bigger than our regular 4 1/4 by 5 cards. Okay? So how easy is that and how fun? I liked it. I will be finishing up this set. I know I will be. Let me clear all this stuff away. So, what did y'all think about that kit? I know that it's not for everybody, but I think sometimes if you are just kind of wanting something to do, but you don't want to go through all the trouble of the designing part of it, then sometimes the kits are really fun. Which brings me to the paper pumpkin. So, starting October 11th, which it's already started, through December 10th, good things come in small packages. So the next paper pumpkin is going to give you enough supplies to make 16 standard gift card holders, so the little boxes, 2 each of 8 designs. an all-occasion gift-giving sentiment stamp set, a garden green Stampin' Spot, and double-sided paper pieces and bows you can mix and match for personal designs. You can also do an add-on that is, you can turn your boxes into personalized cards with the Good Things Cards and Envelopes add-on. That's 20 cards, 5 each of 4 colors, and 20 matching envelopes. Okay? So if you wanted to subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, contact me and I will get you the information on how to subscribe. You can stop it at any time. You can do 1 month at a time, and that's where you can order it and then say you don't want the next kit. Usually we get a little teaser about what the kit's going to contain, whether it's going to be cards or, like for this instance, it's going to be gift boxes for the gift card holders. But you could also use this for giving candy or whatever little kind of gifts you want. So think about that. You might want to get that, and you only have until the 10th of December to order Paper Pumpkin. All right, so here is, okay, so Pat, you asked how much is what? The Santa card kit, it is $22 for the cards and envelopes, and then the cards and more. So all of the stuff that I showed, all these cards and all the extra paper and the embellishments, that's all for $21. $23, I'm sorry. I looked at my prices wrong. Okay. So for $23, you get 20 cards. So that's like $1 a card. All right. So here is card number 2. And you will get a little pearl on your card, I promise. And then here is our first non-traditional Christmas card of the year. Okay, so one of you will be the lucky winner of getting these. And I will get these to you prior to the class so that you can use these as Christmas cards if you'd like. Okay, anybody have any questions for me today? Okay, well, if nobody has any questions, I hope to see a lot of you at our club class tomorrow. You like number 2 the best, this one here, Karen? Yeah, that one is really pretty. It's really elegant and very simple. We have whimsical, we have fun, and we have elegant today. So, all right, well, ladies, I had a fantastic time being back with you today. Remember to be watching your emails. I will send out the registration for our calendar class. I know a lot of you have already said you want to come. So I will get that registration. I will probably have some of them even printed out for tomorrow at club class, so you don't have to go online to do them. If you know of a friend that would like to come with you, that would be awesome. Once you buy that stamp set, let me show you what that looks like again. And it is not hard. There's a learning curve to it. You will be happier if you have a Stamparatus or some other type of stamp positioning tool. But if you have a Stamparatus, I will give you the measurements, or I will give you the markings where you need to place your calendar stamp sets to get it even and straight, okay? Because what your kit will include is the wooden base, the rings, the white paper for the calendar, and the white bases. What you will be supplying are your own embellishments and your designer series paper, unless you go for one of the options where I supply those for you. And that is another option for you.
Ink.
Okay? You will need to bring your own ink. I did 12 different, well, not 12. I did several different colors of ink just because I wanted to match my paper. But you could most definitely do this all in one color of ink, whether it be black or smoky slate. Those would be the 2 colors that I would suggest, unless you had a predominant color in your papers that you were using. So like if you were using a lot of paper that had evening evergreen in it, then I would stamp with Evening Evergreen because it's dark, it's bold, and it's going to really work well for you. Okay? But if you do have any questions about the calendar, please don't hesitate to call me. I will be more than happy to answer those questions. Okay? Let's see. I don't think there's anything else. Remember, there is that special going on right now, the seasonal sale. That runs till tomorrow night at midnight Central Time. So that's actually Mountain Time is 2 hours behind us. Is that right? Because it's 11:59 Utah Mountain Time. So
that's like 2 o'clock in the morning our time?
Yeah, like 2 o'clock our time in the morning. But I always stick to like 11:50 our time. So go out on the website, see if there's anything that you've been wanting as far as dies, stamps, designer series paper, not the specialty paper, but just the designer paper, the ones that usually cost $12 for a pack. You can get them now for like $9 and something. So there is some pretty good deals. This stamp set that you'll need for the calendar class, it is $14, and I want to say 25 cents or 75 cents. I can't remember. So you are saving a little bit of money with that if you order it between now and tomorrow. All right, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow. You all have a great Thursday night. And thanks again for joining me today. Thank you. Bye.